Over the next three videos, we're going to look at geometric means. Geometric means are used to average percentage changes. So in this video, we're going to focus in on percentage changes and calculate our first example of a geometric mean. In this case, where we only have two percentage changes. In the next video, we're going to look at what that funny little n over here above the radical sign means. And then we're going to talk about, once we make sense of that, we're going to do a second example of a geometric mean in which we average 3%. In the final video, we're going to look at an example in Excel and see how to use Excel for geometric means. So let's start by talking about percentage changes. So what a percentage change is it's a way of figuring out how much and how significant a change in a quantity is. So the way you do that is first you find the difference between the new quantity and the old quantity, simply by subtracting. That's called the absolute change. And then the question is that a big change or a little change? Well, you compare that change to the original old value, and that gives you a percentage that tells you how significant it is. Note that this equation is written, it's very simple. It leaves off the times 100 because that times 100 is just converting to a percentage. We're going to just do that without cluttering our formulas, and we'll go back and forth between decimals and percentage. So here's an example of a percentage change. ROI, which stands for return on investment. So let's say you have some investment. So we're going to think about this as investment in a mutual fund. And the value of your investment in the first month is $51,267. In the next month, the value is $52,926. The return on investment is the percentage change in those amounts. So you see, we take the two numbers. The new one is the value in the second month. We subtract the value from the first month. And that absolute change is 1,659. And then to determine how significant that is, we compare to the original amount, the value of the investment in the first month, by dividing. So we divide by 51,267, and we get approximately 0.0324, which, if we convert to a percentage, is about 3.24%. That's the return on investment. Pause the video for a moment and try these calculations in your calculator, just to make sure you've got it. Remember that we subtract first and then we divide. Okay, so hopefully you paused and you did that and you made some sense out of it. Now, how do we use a geometric mean to average, say, two different ROIs? So here's our first example. We just calculated our ROI from month 1 to month 2, so over the course of the first month, and got 3.24%. Suppose the next month, from month 2 to month 3, so starting in month 2, we lost a little bit. So our percentage change is negative 1.61%. We're going to use the geometric mean to find the average. That funny little n over the radical, since we only have two values to average here, that's just a percentage. That's just a square root. So first, convert both to a decimal, and if you look back at that equation, you're told we need to add 1. So the first one is 1.0324, and the second one, since it's negative, it's 1 minus 0.0161, which gives us the 0.9839. I'm going to pause the video for a moment, double check that in your calculator. Okay, you got that? Let's move on. What the formula for the geometric mean says is we multiply the two together, take the square root, and then take our answer and subtract 1. So if we do that, we multiply 1.0324 times 0.9839, take the square root of the answer, and then subtract off the 1, and we get 0.00786, which is 0.786%. Take a moment and check that in your calculator. Remember, in these three operations, first multiply, then take the square root, and then subtract 1. So hopefully you paused and you verified that result. What does this mean? This means over the course from the beginning of month 1 to the end of the second month, we have these two ROIs, and we have an average rate of return of about 0.786%, a little under 1%. So that loss in the second month really dragged our ROI down quite a bit. Now, what if we have 3 months, 4 months, 7 months, 143 months? Well, then instead of a square root, we'll have a third root, a fourth root, and so on. So in the next video, we're going to explore what exactly that means, and then do an example that has 3 different months.